Hi, I'm Donna Nebistinsky, Pastoral Assistant here at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Parish. If you saw my reflection last week, you know that I've been doing a little bit of thinking and meditating on the idea of ordinary time. Last week, we talked a little bit about how we can find the extraordinary in the ordinary. But what happens when ordinary is not even close to what we're used to? The idea of ordinary time in the church is just again the regular season, the numbered seasons, the first week in ordinary time, second week in ordinary time. And if you maybe think back to your early days in school when you were learning about ordinal numbers, first, second, third, fourth. Again, I'm showing my teacher background here for sure. But ordinary time for us is a time to recall and reflect on those readings and that beautiful order that we have as part of our Catholic faith. Those ordinary weeks that guide us to those special liturgical seasons. And as we know, we're coming up on one of those very quickly. We're coming up on Lent in preparation for the beautiful celebration of Easter. But sometimes in our ordinary lives, we're thrown a major curveball. We all know, of course, that for the past year dealing with the COVID pandemic, much of what we remember, much of what we experienced as ordinary life has been disrupted. But even beside that event, outside of the framework of the COVID pandemic, our lives are sometimes upended, and things that we never expected, things that we never thought would become part of our ordinary day-to-day lives have become just that. I've recently been thrown one of those curveballs. It's a pretty serious one. And I do ask for your prayers without even sharing here publicly exactly what's going on, but it's very significant. And in talking to a friend just recently, I was asked, what part of the wave are you on right now? Today, which section of the wave, which part of the wave are you riding? And it gave me pause to think about our family vacations to the beach. Now, of course, we haven't done those for a couple of years either. It would be wonderful if we could do one next summer. But when we would go to the beach in North Carolina, one of the things that always amazed me was watching the power of those waves just coming in, crashing on the beach, but leaving behind the most beautiful and delicate shells and sea glass. I have some of it here. I'm hoping you can see it because it really is something that I think gives us a beautiful example of the way God takes those crashing waves and allows us to find within them polished, smooth, beautiful stones. When I dumped out my little collection, it was also interesting to me that many of the pieces are green, which is kind of neat because green is the color of ordinary time. The other thing that I've also been marveling at, and again, I've taken a look at this jar of shells that I've been collecting over the years, is how some of them are minuscule. And I did remember that I purposely gathered those that were just absolutely still fully intact, but less than maybe an eighth of an inch in size. And again, I'm sorry if you can't see them so well, but this is, beautiful nautilus shell that's completely formed and unbroken from the power of those waves. God has kept those things, kept those ordinary things, kept those little things that are part of his beautiful world, and use the power of those crashing waves, use the power of that turmoil far out in the sea as they roll around and crash up on the beach. He used that turmoil to create something and provide something beautiful. So for those of you that maybe find yourselves in unordinary circumstances in this ordinary time, I'd like to offer that image. Where are you on the wave? God gives us those moments of being up on that crest as if we were an amazing surfboarder, which, trust me, is not something I've ever done and really don't want to try. But sometimes we're up on that crest. Sometimes we're down in that curl of the wave, just kind of being swept along. But sometimes we find ourselves at the bottom, being churned and just battered and beaten. Our lives here on earth, our experiences here in this physical realm, and also our experiences in the spiritual life as well, are really like riding that wave. So if you find yourself at the crest of one right now, rejoice and look out into the distance. Look at everything you can see from the top of that wave. If you find yourselves tucked within the curl, knowing that eventually you're going to drop down to the bottom, give thanks to God for being protected there and held there, knowing that that's what He's doing and giving you strength to be able to meet that turmoil at the bottom. And if you find yourselves right now in this ordinary time at the bottom of that churning wave, trust and hold on to the fact that once it reaches the shore, it's going to come back out and start all over again. And you will once again be riding on the crest of that wave. In and out, the flow of the ocean, the flow and power of those waves. That's where I'm looking right now, looking for that image of God, knowing that He will carry me on those waves, bringing me safely to that shore. It just is a matter of believing and trusting that that is where He's holding me right now. He's doing the same for you. So in this ordinary time, in this beautiful framework of our Catholic faith, hold on to those readings, hold on to those stories, hold on to those gospels that know that He is leading us through those ordered weeks, through those ordered times, this ordinary time, to the glory of Easter. And even though it seems like it's such a struggle right now, that glory will come for each of us. Pray for me. I pray for you. And blessings from St. Elizabeth Ann Seton.